Hi, Alicia here. Welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna pick the books I plan to read in the month of June. Yo, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to my channel and thanks for being here. This is the place where we talk about the books. If you're new here, every month I do a D20 challenge to help me pick the books that I'm going to read that month. So I am naturally a very chaotic reader. I just pick what I'm feeling and go from there. But I also have a mess ton of books that I need to prioritize in my reading, so I'm not always going out and buying new things. So I have this D20 challenge where I roll a D&D D20 die, and then I have a prompt associated with each of the numbers on the die, and then I will pick a book that fits that prompt. So I will link the list of questions, I will link the list of prompts below in the description box, and I will also link the first video where I do the D20 challenge where I go through each of the prompts if you're curious. But yeah, so we just roll the dice. I only roll it 3 times because that gives me some, you know, it gives me some prescription. So I gotta read these 3 books, but then I also have a lot of flexibility with the other things that I read in the month. So it's just a good way for me to balance reading things on my own shelf and then going with the flow and reading whatever else whatever the heck else that I want, you know? So I'll quickly just go over the books that I rolled in my May TBR. I won't review them if I've read them. I'll just kind of tell you what they were and whether or not I did read them. And then stay tuned for my wrap-up video to hear my nitty-gritty thoughts. So those 3 books were Violet by Scott Thomas. This was from the dice roll 11, which was to get a random letter generator and then when I got that, it was the letter V, and it was to pick a book or an author that started with V. So we got Violet. I am almost done Violet, so this one will have been a complete. I'm reading Violet right now. By the time the month is up, I also have Everything That's Underneath by Christy DeMeester. This was from the roll 19, which was to read a book that is not a conventional novel. This is a horror short story collection. I've read this one, woohoo. And then the third one is The White Road by Sarah Lotz. This was from the dice roll of 15 to read a horror book. And The White Road is definitely a horror, and I definitely read it. So we'll talk about this and we'll talk about these 3 books in my wrap-up. So stay tuned for that in another video. So yeah, like I said, I will roll the D20 3 times, and then when each prompt comes up, I will pick a book associated with that prompt, and then I will prioritize that book in the month of June. So without further ado, let's get into those rolls. So the first roll is the number 5, which is a fun one. In this one, we have to roll a dice again. So we roll a D4, which is a 4-sided die, and then with whatever number that comes up on that 4-sided die, I will pick a book from the corresponding shelf. I've got 4 shelves on my my TBR bookshelf. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pop back over to the rolling station and roll that little D4 over there. So the dice roll came up with the number 1, which is the top shelf up here. You can't really see what's up here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pick the book that I know I want to read from this shelf. This is The Good People by Hannah Kent. This is one of my 5-star predictions, so I really want to get to this one. I read Burial Rites by Hannah Kent last year, and that book blew me away. It is atmospheric, it is beautiful, it is devastating, it was such a haunting read, and I'm kind of, my expectations are actually kind of higher for The Good People, so I'm stoked to get to this one. This is a historical fiction. Hannah Kent seems to write, she does like historical fiction. It's definitely historical fiction, historical literary fiction, but then she'll pick like stories that may have factual elements in them or follow characters who may have been real people. So Burial Rites was about the last public execution in Iceland, which happened to be a woman. And The Good People, I don't know if it's actually based on real people, but it's definitely based on lore, where it's a small Irish community, and there is a woman whose husband has just died, and previously in her life she also lost her daughter as well. And she is now the sole caretaker for her grandson, and her grandson is mute, and I believe he is not unable to walk either. He's got some health challenges going on. And then I think it turns into like a chilling, like thrilling, haunting read. So I'm not sure if there's like something going on with this kid or the community, like the town has problems with this kid, but it's definitely meant to be a harrowing story about a small Irish community. So The Good People by Hannah Kent. Now on to roll number 2. So roll number 2 is the number 8, and that is to read a short book, a book that is equal to or less than 250 pages. So not mad about that. So for that, I am going to read Something Borrowed, Something Blood-Soaked by Krista Carmen. This is a horror short story collection because we know I'm super into those. I haven't really looked too closely into these. I really like going into horror anthologies fresh. I've heard really good things about this. I believe it was Pretty in Paper Cuts on her channel. She gave this a 5-star, just called this a perfect collection. So that's all the introduction that I need for a nice short fun read. So yeah, I will be reading Something Borrowed, Something Blood-Soaked. Now on to that third and final roll. So for roll 3, we got the number 12, and that is to read a new to me author. So I am super stoked about this one. For this one, I will be reading The Forgotten Island by David Sodergren. This book has been yelling at me on my shelf for months now, and I am really excited to pick it up. This is about a group of people who go on vacation in Thailand, I believe. And or it doesn't even say on the back cover, so I could be 100% making that up. They go on vacation somewhere and they're in a jungle and there's people and then there's horrors in the jungle. I'm kind of getting vibes from The Ruins from this. I mean, maybe not the actual evil presence from The Ruins, but I'm kind of, you know, jungle, vacation, bad things happening, mayhem, killing, death, horror, murder, scary, spooky, slashy, fun, all of that. I'm getting those vibes from The Forgotten Island, and I hear nothing but good things about this book as well. So that's a solid pick for a new to me author, if I do say so myself. So those were the 3 rolls for my my June TBR. We got The Forgotten Island by David Sodergren, slashy horror. Something Borrowed, Something Blood-Soaked by Krista Carmen, nice anthology short story collection, and The Good People by Hannah Kent, historical fiction with a thrillery, chilling twist. So I'm not actually feeling this daunted by this stack of books for June, so I might actually go ahead and pull a star from the TBR STAR JAR as well. I haven't pulled something from that in a little bit, so I might as well. I keep putting stars in it, so I might as well pull books from it. I'm just gonna go get it. So if you're new here, I've got this TBR STAR JAR. So this is a box that has every unread book that I own in a little like paper origami star. And there is a legend, so all of the colors correlate to different genres, but I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pick one of these stars at random, and then I'm going to, you know, read the book associated with that star. So I got a little blue star here. So blue is just miscellaneous, and sometimes other genres can fit into blue when I have run out of those colors. So there is a chance that this could be a horror because maybe I ran out of orange at some point, but it could also just be a general a general miscellaneous fiction. So we're just gonna unwrap this. I ripped it in half, but the book we got is Women Talking by Miriam Taves. I can't figure out this focus, so just trust me. It says Women Talking by Miriam Taves. And that is this book. This, I believe, is a fictionalized version of the true events in a town where a bunch of women have been raped, or a bunch of women have been harried by this town. And then the whole book takes place in a room where the women are talking about it. So it's called Women Talking, and it's about women talking. That's just like the absolute worst description of a book. I am 100% sorry. So I'm just gonna fully admit that when I picked this up, I did know what this was about. But at this moment in time, I do not. So I believe it is about a town where there are women that are mad about something that has happened to them. Oh, it's, yeah, women in a Mennonite community where they have been, things have happened to them, and then they are talking over 48 hours to make a life-altering choice on behalf of all the women and children in the colony. So we're gonna read this as well. So there you have it. These are the 4 books that came up in my dice roll or from the TBR jar that I will be prioritizing in the month of June. I am not exclusively going to read these books. I will also try and add other books into the mix that are really calling to me at any moment in time. But these are the 4 books that I am pulling off of my own TBR that I'm really gonna, you know, dedicatedly try and read this month. So if you read any of these, let me know. Let me know what you thought. If there's any that you think I should get to first, you think that they're just going to be the best ones, please let me know. Thanks for, if you're still here, if you stayed here this long, thank you. I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate you being here. So let's just talk about books. So until next time, see you, pals.